So in the last session, we created a user called as ERPTREE, and we assigned application implementation consultant and IT security manager roles. And as per FSM, so this is all we call as offerings. Within each offering, what are the applications we have, those we call as options. Just remember this terminology, offering and options. If you want to start with the implementation from FSM, first we have to enable the offerings and options. After enabling the offerings and options, you can create implementation project. And while you create implementation project, what are the offerings and options already enabled? Those you can select into that implementation project so that you can do that application related setups. We'll see this now. Okay, how to enable the offerings and options, how to create implementation project, during the implementation project creation, how to include that offerings and options into our implementation project. Yeah, we'll see this. In yesterday's session, we have seen where we can find the offerings and certain documents what Oracle is providing. And we just gone through. Now we'll see in the fresh instance how to enable the offerings. We'll go through. So connect to this instance ERPTREE, provide password. Now, if you want to go to offerings, you have to click on the username, click on setup and maintenance. These points already we discussed yesterday, right? Now to go to offerings, click on actions, select, go to offerings action. Here you can find all the offerings which Oracle is offering. Okay. Select financials. Click on icon, don't click on the name. Okay, it got some hyperlink. Here just click on that only like icon. Now you can see financials offering is not enabled. This is how you see in the fresh instance. Okay, fresh instance. In this instance, I disabled for our practice purpose. This is how you see as a not enabled. Then we have to go to opt-in features. Just click on opt-in features. And first we have to enable the financials offering. Within that, what are the options you are going to implement, you have to enable. And notice here, before enabling the financials, general ledger application is already enabled. If you are going to use financials application, general ledger application is mandatory. Without general ledger, you cannot use single application from financials. So first you can enable financials offering. So within the financials offering, what are the different applications we are going to implement for our client? Those options, these are all we call as options. Those options we have to enable. Here you can say general ledger by default system is enabled. Supplier invoice processing is nothing but payables application. Because since I disabled, after enabling again, it is enabling automatically few things. In case of fresh instance, everything you have to enable. It won't default anything, it won't copy anything. So general ledger is already enabled by default. And supplier invoice processing. Supplier invoice processing is nothing but payables application. If you are going to implement payables, enable it. And if you are going to implement fusion expense, you enable it. If you are implementing fixed assets, enable it. If you are going to implement receivables application, receivables is nothing but here you can see as a customer invoice processing. Enable customer invoice processing. That means you are going to implement receivables application. Enable it. Okay. So enable it. And you can, so this is how like, so this we enabled. And the revenue management separate application. This intercompany budgets are, these are not options. These are the within the options certain features along with the financials. If you want to implement this features like intercompany budgets, is all you can enable. Okay. So this is how you can enable. What are the options we are going to implement for your client? You should enable here. Okay. And you can click on done. After enabling these options, you can click on done. That's how this offering would be enabled. Within the offering, we enable certain options also. Now you can see the status of financials offering is enabled. Done. The same way you can enable few other offerings also, which are part of project implementation scope. After implementing the offerings and options, we have to create the implementation project. What is the purpose of implementation project? To perform the setups, only for setup purpose. When you talk about implementation project, the process is totally different. Within the implementation project, one of the activities setups, but in the system, whatever the implementation project we are going to create, that is for setup purpose only. We'll see that. How to create implementation project. So here we are in the FSM page. We are in the FSM page, or else you can take the navigation again. Click on username. Click on setup and maintenance. Okay, click on setup and maintenance. Click on task list. Here you can see notepad kind of icon. This we call as a task list. Reason within that you can have a multiple tasks. You can call as a task list or a task panel. Click on this task list. We list out multiple tasks. What we want to do? We want to create implementation project. Why we want to create implementation project? To do the setups or say to do the implementation. Okay. So click on manage implementation projects. Click on manage implementation projects. Okay. Manage implementation projects. Here you can see many implementation projects here. These are all created for practice purpose. It is all created for practice purpose. Everybody is practicing on this instance, they create all this. If you want to create in the fresh instance, okay, in the fresh instance, if you navigate to this page, this is how you find this page as a blank. No project you can find here. And remember, one instance, Oracle is providing for only one client. Okay, one instance, Oracle is providing for only one client. One instance can be used by multiple clients also, but Oracle won't allow. One instance only for one client only. Okay, remember this. In case of fresh instance, when you navigate to this page, this is how you find this page as blank. No implementation projects you can find here. Oracle never provides sample implementation projects. We have to create how we require. Now the question is, how many implementation projects we have to create? If you are going to create implementation projects to complete the setups, how many implementation projects we have to create? For each country, we have to create one implementation project. So you are going to do the implementation for your client for 4 countries. You are going to implement for 4 countries. For 4 countries, you can create separate implementation projects. Can we create single implementation project for 4 countries? Yes, that is also possible. The purpose of implementation project is to complete the setups. With a single implementation project also, you can complete 4 country related setups, but it will create some mess. Okay, there is chances where you commit with the mistakes if you are using the single implementation project for multiple countries during the setup process. That is the reason it's always, we recommend to create separate implementation projects for each and every country so that when you do the setups, it would be very smooth for us with respect to selecting some values which are applicable for that country, or else it will help us automatically to pick the values also. Those we will understand when we do the setups. But here make a note of this point. For each country, we have to create the separate implementation project. If you want to create single, it is possible. You can create single implementation project for multiple countries and you can do the setups. But when you are doing the setups, by mistake, we do some, by mistake, we just go with some wrong values and that will create issues. That is the reason it's recommended that create separate projects country-wise. So this is what we have to understand. Let's see how to create implementation project. After creating implementation project, I'll take your questions on this. Okay, how we are navigating to this page? You have to click on the username. Okay, just click on username. It is opening on panel. Click on setup and maintenance task. It will take us to FSM page. Click on setup maintenance task. It will take us to FSM. functional setup manager page. Here already discussed FSM, functional setup manager. By using FSM, we can do the setups. We create project, with the help of project, we do the setups. Okay, once you click on setup and maintenance, we are landing in this page. Go to task list. Just click on task list. Click on implementation project task. These are all we call as the tasks. Click on one of the tasks called as manage implementation projects. So it will take us to the page from which page we can create the implementation projects. Just wait for a moment. Okay, here you can see all the implementation projects. So all are created. Here you can see the different names. For practice purpose, everybody is creating with the different names. But Oracle doesn't allow to create the projects for different companies in the single instance. Now, to create the new project, click on create icon. Okay, just click on create icon to create the new implementation project, so that with the help of that project, we can do the setups. So by default, system is taking the name, code, description, everything. Okay, you can change how you want to see. So we are going to create implementation project for ERPTREE. So later we'll take other name. For initial discussions, we'll go with this ERPTREE name. Later we'll select one country and we'll go with those scenarios. I'm taking the name as ERPTREE implementation project. By default, it is generating some number. You can remove the number from the name. The same name, it will default as a code and description. Just use tab from the keyboard, use tab. The same name it is taking as a implementation project code and implementation project description. And what is the purpose of this implementation project? To perform the setups. We not yet started doing the setups. That is the reason at the time of implementation project creation, you can see the status has not started. We not yet started doing the projects. And assigned to whom? ERPTREE. Why it is showing ERPTREE user? We are creating the project from ERPTREE user. System is assigning this implementation project to ERPTREE user. If you want to assign to other users, you can assign. Okay, click on drop down, select search. Okay, you can search and select specific user and you can assign. Search for any user. I'm searching with the letter A. Okay, so I can select any one of the user. I can assign. The reality, okay, as per implementation project, who has to create implementation project? Don't think project manager has to create. Okay, it is not related to project management. It is related to one of the activity which we do as a part of project, that is setups. Who knows how to create implementation project? Anyone create this implementation project. Finance consultant can create, or a SCM consultant can create, or a HCM consultant can create. Any consultant can create this implementation project. It is not mandatory. The project should be created by manager only. No. Okay, project can be created by anyone. Yep. So this is how you can assign the project to specific user. Or else you can switch to our user only. Let's take our user, ERPTREE. So this is how during the implementation project creation, if you want to assign this project to which user, you can select and you can assign. Wait, it will pick that value. And meantime, you can see these fields. Okay, start date and finish date. So when you are going to start with the setups, okay, when you are going to start doing the setups, that you can set a start date. What is the tentative finish date? By which date you are going to complete the setups, that you can give as a finish date. Okay, start date and do finish date. So please.
When the project is assigned to the ERPTREE, then ERPTREE only can implement the project, right?
No. Okay, this is just for information. Okay, anyone can work on this project. I'm just creating the project. Within the project, we'll have offerings and options. Okay, so anyone can have access to this implementation project who got access to application implementation consultant role. This is just for information purpose, no controls. For example, I'll give project finish date as a 10th. This is just for information only to track the progress of the project. Okay, to track the progress of the project is going to be completed by which date, and whether project setups are completed or not. Everything you can track. For that purpose you are providing. After this date also, you can work on this implementation project to do the setups. Okay, please remember then the assignments and dates what we are giving just for information purpose. No controls behind it. Okay, it won't restrict. Only that user can work on the project. Only within those dates only you can do the setups. No, just for information. Okay, just for information. Now click on
What is the use of assigned to?
assign to means the project we are assigning to whom, or simply you can say who is creating the project. By default, system will select current user.
Just now we have told that everyone can access the project too.
Everyone can access to this project. Yes.
That's why
Consultant can access to this project. Who got access to application implementation consultant role? Who got access to this role? So they can get access to FSM. Within the FSM only we are creating project. So within the FSM, what are the projects we have? All the projects can be accessed by all who got access to this role. When it comes to business users, the story is different. They are working for what? For that only we'll give the access. But consultants, they need full access. Okay.
that is everyone can see the.
They can do everything. Not only seeing, they can just change that project, they can delete, they can work on it. Full permissions for consultants, full permissions. Anyone can create, anyone can work on that project.
Sir, one thing, like initially we have given the access of the FSM. Okay, if that access is not given, only IT security access is given, then this person cannot view this settings, right?
First of all, we cannot access to these pages. The
Yeah.
navigator, you don't see setup and
Setup
maintenance
and
task. When you don't see
Okay.
this, you cannot come to FSM. When you
Oh.
cannot access FSM, you cannot create project.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because of application implementation consultant role only, we are able to access to FSM by using this task, and we are able to create implementation project. Doesn't matter who is creating the implementation project, everyone can access to that implementation project who got access to application implementation consultant role.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. Assigning to that specific user ERPTREE, that ERPTREE user will get any alert like so and so project is
No
alerted.
notifications.
No notifications like that.
See,
Okay.
this is just one-time activity, right?
Okay.
Like a regular activity, like operations, transactions.
Okay.
So one time, simply just you create and no notifications triggered for that user. Fine. Now, so we given these details. Now click on next to select or to include what are the offerings and options we are going to implement into this project. Okay, we can select the offerings and options into this implementation project as per your scope of the implementation. If you take this example, that these many offerings we have, if you enable financials and SCM, supply chain management, those two only visible to select in the implementation project. Okay, so whatever offerings and options enable, those only will be available to select into implementation project. But in this instance, most of the offerings and options are enabled. See, that is the reason you are able to see all. Okay, once you click on next, system will display all these offerings and options. Now we want to include financials into our implementation project. Okay, here is the financials. Okay, column name is include. We want to include financials into our project. Enable include checkbox. And within this financials, what are the different options you want to include? You want to include supplier invoice processing, nothing but payables. So within the payables itself, you can have a cash management also. You don't need to include separately cash management. When you include the financials, you will get general ledger application also. And are you going to implement expense? Yes. Include fixed assets. Yes, we are going to implement. Include customer invoice processing. Include. Okay. And what are the other applications we are going to implement? Those all you can include like this. So this is how you can include the reporting, the BI intelligence analysis for all the applications also you can include. These are all part of finance. So different applications, fixed assets, general ledger, accounts payable, expense, the BI analysis. If you want to conduct, you can include all this. Okay. So this is how, what are the offerings and options already enabled, those only you can find at the time of project creation. Say financials is not enabled. You don't find here financials to select into your implementation project. Now click on save and open project. If you click on save and open project, what system will do is it will create the task list and it will display all the tasks within our implementation project. So you selected supplier invoice processing. Supplier invoice processing means payables. To implement payables, what are the setups are available that all system will generate automatically. Now system is generating. Okay, it's under process. To implement expense application, what setups you have to perform? It is generating the task list. Same way for fixed assets, customer invoice processing means receivables, collections. These are the different applications, collections, revenue management, intercompany budgets. These are the separate features. Okay, for all these, system is generating the task list. Here I'll write that meantime system will complete that activity. It takes time because we selected almost all the options which are available in the financials offering. To generate task list for all those, it takes time. It's generated. Here you can see financials. This is our implementation project. It generated task list for all the finance related implementation. Expand financials. Within that you have a subfolders. This is all we call as a task list. Place cursor on that. It will show this is a task list. Every folder contains list of tasks. So this is a folder to implement payables application. Define invoicing and payment configuration means payables. If you want to do the payable setups within the folder, you can see which setups you have to do. Again, you have a subfolders within that. Okay, just expand. These are the setups you have to perform. Based on the relevance, they group those setups. This is how you have, these are the setups which you have to do. Expand. So inside of the folders, what you have, those we call as a tasks. Wherever you see the folder option, that is a task list. Okay, that contains certain tasks. So this is how you can find the task list which system generated within our project. If you want to implement receivables application, for receivables, system created one folder here, define receivables configuration. By using this receivables configuration folder, you can implement receivables application. You can set up receivables application. Okay, you can do the setups only. You cannot create any transactions. If you want to create the transactions, we have a separate roles for users, business users. You can expand. You can see what setups we have to perform. Expand. We have subfolders also, nothing but task list. These are the setups we have to do. So this is how you can find the different task lists application wise system created. If you want to implement cash management application, this is a folder. Okay. So that's how you can see for each and every application, we have a separate folder. Here you can see the folder called as define common application configuration for financials. So with this, you can do the GL setups, general ledger application setups. Okay. General ledger application setups. This is for payables, this is for expense, this is for fixed assets, this is for receivables, this is for cash management. So each application to do the setups, we have a separate folder which system is generating automatically based on which offering you are selecting within the offering, which option you are including. Now, for example, I want to implement procurement also along with these financials. Yes, from here also we can add it. Already we created a project. If you want to add any other offerings into this project, you can add it. Click on add. What offering you want to add? Procurement offering you want to include into this project. So here you can see search for offering. Offering name is procurement. Click on search. Select. Just click on apply. So to implement procurement, within the procurement, we have purchasing application, procurement contracts, self-service procurement, supplier portal, sourcing application. These all are the different applications are part of procurement. To implement all those applications, what setups we have to complete, system will create the task list. You can see in the background, added procurement. Okay, added procurement, say done. You expand financials. Okay, you expand financials. Here, you have these different offerings. Okay, this is the offering, these are the different options. You can add one by one option also into our project. I'll open the same instance, okay, by following other link, other tab. Okay, under a different tab, I'm opening the same instance. I'll go to our project only. Setup and maintenance. Now, if you just go to task list, click on manage implementation projects, click on overview, so that to this user, which project is assigned, you can see directly. Now open that project. Already these two are selected. Now what I want to do is, I want to add only payables to this implementation project. Already financials we added, within the financials we have payables also for our understanding purpose. I want to add only payables option to our implementation project. What is the payables option name? Define invoicing and payment configuration. Click on add. Not only offering, you can add the option also. To add the option, you can select task list. What is the task list name for payables? Define invoicing and payment configuration. Search for define invoicing and payment configuration. Search for invoicing. Here you can say define invoicing and payment configuration. I can add only one application also. Select and click on apply. You can see in the background it is added. Or else I want to add, say for example, expand, define invoicing and payment configuration. Within the payables, one of the task list is define payables. Only if you want to add this to our project, you can add it. Click on add. So that is also task list only. See here, task list folder. Folder means task list. The task list may be for entire application. Entire application means this is the entire application. These are the subparts. So if you want to add only this task list, yes, you can add into our project. For that also you can use task list only. It could be offering or within the offering. Define tables. See the name, define payables. Define payables. You can say apply. You can say done. See, only payables is added. Or else within the defined payables, expand it. We have different tasks. Single task also you can add to our project. Here I'll click on add. I want to add single task, one task only. So select task. What task you want to add into this project? Say manage payment terms. You don't need to think about what is the meaning of manage payment terms. We'll discuss. Just to understand how to add specific task, you can search for here. What is the task name? Manage payment terms. Search with the same. Manage payment terms. Here you should select task. If you select task list or offering, it doesn't display. If I'm selecting offering, search. There is no offering called as manage payment terms. There is no task list called as manage payment terms. We have only task. Appropriate search criteria you have to select. Click on search. Now you can add it. Apply. Select and click on apply. See, manage payment terms is added. Okay, click on done. So that means here we have to understand when you create implementation project, during the implementation project, you can select offerings and options. That is a scope. But after implementation project creation, you can select offerings, what we require. See, 2 offerings we added, and we added one option called as tables. And within the tables, what are the task list that also we added? I really not require this. All these 3 we have inside of payables, financials. Just to understand, we are doing this. If you want to select add single task also, you can add it. Okay, now these all are not required. I'm deleting. Delete this task. Delete this task list. Delete this option. Okay. So this is how you can create implementation project and you can select. Or else what you can do is, during the implementation project, if you don't want to select any offerings and options, that is also fine. Click on create. Okay, click on create. You want to create the implementation project. XYZ name I'm giving. Let it be any name what system is taking. And directly say save and open project. I don't want to include now. I want to create empty project first. Within that, I want to include which offerings, which option, which task list, which task I want. Those I want to select. So empty project is created. Okay. Now you can select whatever you need into this project. Could be offering or task list or task, anything you can select. So you can add offerings, options under task list to this implementation projects. Okay. So just remember how many implementation projects we have to create. For one country, one project is enough. To do the setups only, we are going to use this implementation project concept. For each country, you can create separate so that when you do the setups, everything will become easy for you as a consultant with respect to selecting the values and all. Those all you will understand. When you start doing the setups, you will understand why we are discussing for one country, only one project. If you want to create multiple projects for one country, yes, you can do that, but not required. Okay. Say, for example, you are going to implement financials, HCM, SCM. These 3 offerings you are going to implement. For each offering also, you can create separate project. Okay. You can give the project name as the ERPTREE Financials Implementation. You can add financials offering into that project. You can create another project called as ERPTREE HCM Implementation Project. You can include HCM, same way as CM. Okay, but generally we don't create like that, not required. We create single, within that we select all the offerings which you are going to implement. All the consultants will start working on that implementation project to perform the setups where they are related. Okay, They are finance, they do the finance setups, HCM setups. That's how they can do. So any questions on what we have seen, please? There are many other points we'll discuss. Any questions here, please?
Hi sir, there is an option is reset option is there. If we press that reset, everything will go on or what?
What is a reset?
Assigning task.
Where you are referring? Reset. This search page. Are you talking about this field? Somebody asked a question, no response.
Yeah, I'm asking for the reset.
Yeah, see, you are searching. If you
Okay.
remove the search, you can say reset. Reset means it will refresh.
Okay.
Fine. Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, one question on assigning offering and task. So after assigning one offering, and then we also, let's say for example, we assign financials, and also under that, within financials, we have a task called payment, payment related task. So if we assign two tasks, if you complete one task within financials, both of them will be interlinked, right? One setup will be.
Both are same, not interlinked. Both are same.
Okay.
Both are same.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Qualification of selection. That's all.
Hi Lakshman, I have a question here. So like for this, what is it, the task list? So when we are offering, the task, when the task list is getting generated, so we are manually adding the payment or disbursement or invoice going back there. Yeah. So if you're manually adding the task, then we may end up missing the project, right? We may end up missing the task.
No, like
by default, if you are
already the tasks are created by system, those we are adding. Otherwise, you select into your project, it will create. Both are same.
Yeah, but we may don't know, right? Say, see if there are some 10 or 15 tags in the AP. If we
one second, I got your point. See, for our understanding purpose, I was showing like that. Okay. Just how to add entire offering, how to add specific option, how to add task list, how to add single task also we are discussing. Ideally, if you are doing the implementation for finance, you can include entire financials offering. We never add one by one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, for our understanding purpose, I am showing like that. That's all. Okay. I'm not suggesting to please do like that. No. Yeah. Yes, if you are going to add one by one, we cannot do that. It's a very big task, right?
Correct.
Big activity. We may miss, as you mentioned. If you miss something, if you try to do the setup from this project, the task won't be available.
Yeah, correct. And also coming to the upstream system there. So do we have to, like, we are just doing the setup here. So how do we get to know that there is an interface that has to be come up from upstream system to this Oracle? That would be taken separately, or we have to do the same?
That as a part of project implementation team discussions and all. Okay. Say from other system, from other application, we have to bring the data into financials. As a finance consultant, so we talk to the business and we'll talk to the technical team, what data into which application that we have to bring. Accordingly, the technical people start working on that interface integrations and will bring the data. So we work as a team, right? So the team will come to know all those, and with the team discussions, things will get finalized. Accordingly, technical team will support us.
Yeah, that's again the steps that has to be followed. Like we have a tech team.
See, one point here, implementation project means not implementation project. This is just for setups.
Correct. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, that is the reason those points are not part of this, what you are raising.
No, I mean to the question from me, the ask is yeah, this is not a tech process, but setup process.
Only
But
setup.
again,
Only
I
setup.
only
Rest
setup.
of all.
I'm just making the setup available for the IP or the
Yes, yes.
project. But
Correct,
before
correct.
that, there should be request coming up from the tech team saying that, hey, these are the parameters and this is the ask. This is the project requirements, and we would be following that. And we are picking up procurement and AP from the offerings, and we are
Okay.
adding the task accordingly.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's true.
I'm clear. Yeah. Thanks.
Fine. Any other questions?
Hi, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, finish
Code.
date. Finish date.
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Finish date. Finish date. If I do the installation within the finish date only,
Not clear. Your voice is not clear.
hello, sir.
Yeah,
Now
please.
it's audible.
Same. Let's try.
Ah. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
I'm asking the finish date. I have to install the setup on the finish date only. It will extend the date also.
No, anytime you can extend the date. Okay. It is not, see, there is no rule. As a tentative schedule, by which date you are planning to finish the setups, accordingly you can set that. Anytime you can change it. Click on edit. You can extend. Okay. This is how you can extend. That is just for information. No control with that. After finish date also, you can do the setups. No issues. System will allow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question, sir. So when we
Please.
create project name, so we'll just give tab for project code and description. So can we modify this, or is it mandatory? Like we can give the same project name as a code and description?
Yeah, you can change, but there's no need of changing with another title and all. Ideally, whatever the name we are giving, the same name system will create the code and description. So once you create implementation project, the code you cannot change. The name and description, assignments, status, start date, finish date, it is all parameters you can change. See here, click on edit. Name
Okay.
is editable, description is editable, rest of all are editable. Code is not editable. That's
Okay, thanks.
fine. Any other?
Hi, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, actually, doing setups from this create implementation project.
Can you, if
And,
you don't mind, can you maintain some distance to your mic? It's
now okay. Now okay.
yeah, now it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Creating setups from this implementation project and creating setups from the global search. Is it same?
Same. Global
Okay.
search we didn't discuss, but to answer your question, from global search you cannot complete all the setups. Only
Okay.
few setups only you can complete. All the setups you can complete from implementation project. How exactly we will see in the classes. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Implementation project will allow to all the type of setups, but global search, few setups you cannot do. There is some reason that we will come to know when we are doing.
Okay. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
If we have done the setup on the test instance, all the setups, and if you want to move on the production, so there is any tool or we need to set up the manually on the production?
No. We can move the setups from test instance to any instance by using the concept called as configuration packages. We'll see in our classes how to create the configuration packages to move the setups from one instance to another instance.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? No questions. Now we'll see.
Hello, Govardhan here, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, actually today only I joined in this session. Before this, how many sessions I got completed? Can I know?
If you don't mind that, we will discuss in the end of the session. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Bye. So that So we have seen how to create implementation project. Okay. During the implementation project, you can select offerings and options. Only offerings and options only you can select. Or else you can create implementation project. After creating implementation project, you can select specific options or specific task list or specific task also. So we can follow any process. Ultimately, we need what we are going to implement into our implementation project. Now, say for example, you started working on this implementation project. Okay, you started working on this implementation project. Now you can update the project status as you started doing the setups. What is the status of our implementation project? Not started. So you started doing the setups. Click on edit. You can set the status as a in progress and say save and close. By looking at this implementation project, anyone can understand already we started working on this implementation project. This implementation project is nothing but setup related implementation project, not actual implementation project. Okay, in the same way, say this financials procurement or else within the financials, different options or within the different options, different task lists, within the task list, different tasks we have. So any level you can assign the resource. Okay, any level you can assign the resource. Means, take the point here, we can assign team members to specific offering or a specific option. It could be multiple also, a specific task list or to specific task level also. You can assign the resource. Okay, we can assign the resource. Who is going to implement finance? We can assign that resource to finance, or else one consultant for payables, one consultant for receivables, one consultant for assets. This is how we can assign the consultants at option level. Or else you are going to implement payables, two consultants are going to work for payables. For two consultants, we assign at a different task list level. Our specific task need to be completed by so-and-so consultant. Yes, we have to assign a consultant to specific task level. That means we can assign the resource, or say we can assign the team members at various levels in the project, so that when you look at that implementation project, we can understand who are working for which setups. For that information purpose, we can assign one resource to one specific option or a offering or task list or task. And again, remember one point, if I assign one person to financials, don't think only that person can complete the setups. That assignment only for information purpose. We can assign financials to Mr. X, Mr. Y can do the setups. System will allow. Okay, assignment only for information purpose. Let's see how to assign team members to these levels. I want to assign entire financials to one team member. Okay, select financials and click on assign task list, tasks. You want to assign financials to whom? Click on search, click on add. Okay, just click on add. You want to assign to whom? You can select here. You want to assign to some ABC user. I guess ABC user is there. Somebody created something else, no issues. You select and say apply and click on done. Now you want this ABC user should complete the setups by which date, which due date, that you can set. Okay, just picking the username. Somebody created username as abc@gmail.com. So I want this ABC to complete finance setups within by 9th of this month. Say save and close. Along with this person, if you want to assign the financials offering to one more resource, you can add here. XYZ. Because these are the practice instances. Whatever you guess, mostly you find those users. So select, click on apply and done. XYZ EMP username. you are giving same date. So these two consultants or these two users, ideally these are consultants, should complete entire financials setups by this date. If you enable here, assign same due date to all the users. If you are going to assign financials to multiple people, you can enable the checkbox and you can give one due date. Here for every user, you no need to select the due date. Automatically, whatever the due date you will provide here, it will default, will copy. Yeah. Now we given same date separately, no issues. So save and close. So this is how the entire offering you can assign one or two multiple resources who are going to work on the financials application. Okay, we assign. Now expand it. 1 second, let me complete few points. I'll take your questions. Now, here if you expand any offering, if you go to any task list, you can see those two users. See here, these are the setups. For all these setups, you can see these two users. Let me drag it to the right. Yeah. Now here you can see these are the tasks. Who has to complete all these tasks? These two users, A, B, C. Here, place cursor on one more is XYZ. The entire financials, you go to any offer, any option, or any task list or any task within that, whatever the tasks are available, those all need to be completed by same. So not only payables, we assigned that entire financials level, right? I'm going to receivables. Expand receivables, expand any one of the task list, you see, who has to complete all these setups. A, B, C, and XYZ. If I want to complete, I can do that. System won't stop me. Okay, anyone can come and do it, but assignment we did for whom? Yeah. Now, instead of assigning at entire offering level, if you want to assign at option level, you can do that. For payables, you want to assign to one resource. Select payables. Okay, select payables. Define invoicing and payment configuration means payables application. Select, click on assign tasks. Click on add. Okay. Just I want to find any one of the user. I'm selecting one user. Say apply. Done. By which date? Let system select. By which date this user has to complete, this consultant has to complete the setups or payables? By tomorrow. Just save and close. Now you expand payables. Expand payables. Expand any task within the payables. Now you can say already financials offering level you assign 2 resources. For payables, you added one more resource, total 3 resources for payables. Okay. So ABC plus 2 more. 2 more resource. If you want to assign the resource, options wise, you assign separately. If you assign at entire offering level, that would be defaulted for all the options. So this is what you have to understand. So instead of entire option level, I want to assign for group of setups within the payables. Okay, expand it. So within the payables, these are the different task lists. The define payables tasks I want to assign to one resource. Select, click on assign task, same process. Click on add. I'll select any one of the user. Say apply. Click on done. These setups need to be completed by this consultant today itself. Okay. So this is how you can see. So if you go to this define payables, you will see total 4 users. One user is getting displayed as ABC, remaining 3 more users, 3 more employees. The due dates also you can see who has to complete what by which day. Or else you can assign resource to specific task also. Say for example, you didn't assign anything to offering level or option level or task list level. You can select a specific task. For example, manage payment terms. I select it. Click on assign tasks. Your task level already, we have 4 resources. The same you can see here. Now here you can see permitted. Only XYZ EMP is permitted to do that setup. That means the required roles are not available for these users. If you want to do these setups, ideally we need application implementation consultant. Few other roles also will allow. Okay, so these users doesn't have roles which are required to do these setups. That is the meaning of permitted. Now I want to remove all these resource for payment terms. I'll remove it. I want to assign payment terms related setup should be done by another resource. Let's click on add. So that setup should be done by other resource. Select and apply and say done. Okay, no permissions. Later you can see to complete this setup, which roles are required. Here you can check. Yeah, authorize the roles we have, right? Here you can verify. Accordingly, you can assign specific role, and this user will be able to do the setups. Today only this user has to complete. So this is how various levels you can assign the resources within the project. And say for example, you assign resources at different levels and payable setups are completed. Payable setups are complete, or else somebody started working on the payables. Now, what is the status of payable setups? Not started. You can click on the same status or else select this payables record and click on edit status. You can click on the same status or click on edit status. Say somebody started working on the payables, they can set the status as in progress. Okay, in progress. And say these setups are completed by somebody. Okay, common application configuration. These setups are completed. You can click on the same status. You can set the status as completed. So save and close. Say expense setups also completed. You can set the status complete. So this is how, what are the setups you are doing, where the setup process is standing, not yet started or in progress, completed, everything you can set in the project level. If you set like this, if you do the assignments and if you set like this, okay, or else for entire offering level, you can set the status as in progress. Finance setups we completed. Instead of saying payable setups we started, receivable setups we started, you can say financials level, the setups are started. We started doing the setups. And if you expand financials, okay, here just after changing, after setting that, we did the status, we set the status at this level. That is the reason it is overriding. Now I'll set table setups are completed. Completed. Right? If you set this status like this during the implementation, like when consultants are working on this project, you set like this. So it will display the information. See here, click on overview. To this user, which projects are assigned, those it will show. You can delete this XYZ implementation project. We don't need this. Delete this project. Just wait for a moment. It takes time. that project is deleted. Now this project is assigned to this user, assigned to ERPTREE. So we are from ERPTREE, so it is displaying this project. Now see here the status. Because we assigned, we updated status, that is the reason we are able to see this. Okay. So unassigned task within this implementation project, 492 tasks are not yet assigned to anyone. Those are mostly procurement related. So assigned tasks are these. The implementation project status is in progress. The project is assigned to this user. Now here you can see the entire this implementation project, the 15% means 369 tasks are completed. Reality not completed, we updated status. As per the status it is showing. Really when we complete, we update the status. For our understanding purpose, we update it as a completed. And here 21% setups not yet started. The 21% setups are equal to 492 tasks. And here 64% tasks within our project, the number is 1526 tasks are in progress. If you want to see the 15% setups which are completed, you can click on the same like 15% the diagram, you can click on that yellow color. It will show what are those 15% of setups are completed. This all we marked as a completed, right? The project, the same it is showing. That's how you can check. Go to assignment status page. The same way you can see the assignment by due date. Okay, this week, these many setups need to be completed. We given the due dates, accordingly it is displayed. This week, 139 setups need to be completed. You can click on that that bar icon, it will display the 139 setups who has to complete. Here it is showing all this. Those need to be completed in this week. Already those are completed. Okay. So that's how you can see. Go to assignment status. Okay, due date is this week and see completed 139. All are completed. So next week these many need to be completed. Okay, and in progress are 1526 and completed are 228. And past due, there are no tasks which need to be completed with a prior date, past dates. Please go on mute. Please go on mute. I don't know what is the reason. Here you can see few tasks. Okay, few tasks are not assigned to any due date. Okay, no due date is set to these tasks. Okay, 492 tasks, no due date. So this is how you can check. In the same way, you can go to assignment status by task list. Okay, here you can see. So offerings wise, you can see the financials. These many are in progress, these many are completed. When you talk about procurement, not yet started, complete. If you click on this, it will display what are those 369, 367. Again, within that task list wise, it will display. Only define invoicing and payment configuration means payables. Only payable setups only completed. Now you can go to resource status. Which resources are working for this project, you can see. Okay. This resource and this resource are working as per this week. Okay. I mean, these resources are working for this setup and this setup. In this week, okay, these resources need to complete these setups. Okay. This week, this consultant has to complete these many setups. This week, this consultant has to complete these many setups. This consultant has to complete, I think, only one setup. Your face cursor exactly, it will display. Only one. You check, okay, any setups need to be completed in the past, not yet completed. Nothing. Next week. So next week, these resource has to complete these setups. In coming 3 weeks, who has to complete which setups? Okay, no. Only up to next week, only we have. After that, no tasks. Okay, from second and third, there are no assignments we have. So this is how you can see at project level. Okay, if you do these updates, you can see when you look at the project, you can see the progress. Okay, the progress of the setups. Implementation project only for the purpose of to perform the setups. Okay, not for any other purposes. If you do the setups through implementation project, you can move the setups from one instance to another instance. Okay, we always do the setup from implementation project. Other than implementation project, from where we can do the setups, we have 2 other places we can do the setups. Say for example, I want to do the setups. I can go to different pages and I can do it. Possible. So, but if you do the setups through implementation project, the setups you can copy and you can move to other instance with the concept called as configuration packages. If you don't use implementation project, being a functional consultant, we cannot move the setups from one to other instance with a concept called as configuration packages. We'll see those also. Okay, what are the other places we can do the
Sir, one doubt.
Not working on it, we will see all those points.
Sir, one doubt. Initially, you said that we will get only one instance by default from Oracle.
One second. I said this. We get 2 instances.
Okay.
For testing, 1 for production. If they want to get additional, yes, they can get for development purpose in case client is passed to do the customizations. This is what we discussed. What is your question?
So that my question is like we are doing in testing instance, so we will move this setup only to productions. That place only we'll use the configuration portion, right?
Configuration package concept you can use only for that purpose. Yes.
Okay.
All the setups here you tested, everything is working fine. Client also said okay. Now same setups you need in the production. So you can copy. You can extract all the setups from test instance with the configuration package. It will generate one file. That setup file you can load in this instance. The same setups will be ready in your production. So you are doing some developments and you want to test the developments in the development instance also. What are the file you extracted from test instance? That file you can upload in this instance. Same setups will be created here also.
Okay, sir. Okay. One more doubt, sir. When you mention the status, when you shown the status page at the implementation site,
correct.
We have, I think, 2-3 options only: not started, and work in progress.
Correct.
But when you're showing in the overview page, I seen that it is showing some completed status with errors.
Yeah. If this is a situation, you can set. See here.
We can.
For example, we'll take the case. Okay. You completed, you are working on this specific setup. Okay. You are working on this specific setup. And there is some issue with that setup. Okay. So you can set like that.
Okay.
So you completed, one second. You completed with some error, or else with just you are not able to complete also. You can select the same status. Okay. You don't have separate statuses for error. That is the reason you can select completed with error. So you didn't complete, but there is some error with that. You can select the status. So that when we look at any project, you can understand which setups we are not able to complete, where we have some issue. That easily you will be able to track. Yeah. And one more point here. Execution frozen. That means you are telling to other people, I completed these setups, you don't touch it. You don't touch these setups. There is a message we are giving. And completed in progress, not started, already discussed. This just for information purpose only, no controls here.
Okay, sir.
Execution frozen means So just we completed, we finalized. We are telling to others not to touch it. Even if you set this, system will allow you to do the setup. Only message. Okay.
One more question
How to
on the
understand.
same thing, sir. Can we move all these setups to a different implementation project?
No. See here, these are tasks only. These are not setups. By using the manage payment terms, if I click on this go to task icon, here I can do the setups. I can create all the payment terms. Okay, all the payment terms. So these payment terms will store in one table. To move the data, we can create the configuration package. You can create it. You can just move it. But here, these are not setups. To create the setups, we are using the tasks. Okay. If you need same task in the other project, create other project, add relevant offerings and options. That's all.
Yes, sir. Whatever is the setup that we have completed in one implementation project, all those setups internally, like each individual task which is completed, can it be moved to a different implementation project for a different country?
Different implementation project, different country. Instance is same or different?
Instance is same.
You cannot move. That is a duplication, right?
Yeah.
That without moving, you can use them in the other projects also.
Okay, so these offerings and options can be used, but my question is, can we utilize? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. You can reuse in the same instance. If you need in another instance, you can copy. In the same instance, you are using for 10 countries. There are certain setups which you can reuse for multiple countries also, but not all. Because what you create for India, you have to use for India only. For US, you cannot use. Ideally, those are not required. Yeah.
All right, sir. We'll take it offline, not to waste your time here. Sir.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Fine. Any other questions? So seems to no questions.
Lakshman, I have a question. So the assignment status looks similar to the test trails. Do we also use the test trail for the reporting purpose here?
Which one you are referring?
You shown the status completed, 20% completed or pending. The graph there. So it's more similar to the test trail.
Yes, you can run the report. You can run the reports. You can see with the status or else project status level also you can find the same. Okay, to understand. So how many are ended with error and all it will display. Otherwise, what you can do is here you have a reports also. Okay, you can run the report. It will list out all the tasks which are falling under with error or which we should not touch, which already completed. That information you can see through report also. You can run the report here. View report. For those purposes, you can use it.
Okay, one more question out of curiosity. I mean, it's DBA screen also has the same. I mean, looks similar when we do any setup, or it's different.
BP, what is that?
I mean, DBA. We also have a DBA, right?
DBA.
The Oracle. Yeah.
Okay.
So the screen and the I mean, the navigation is similar to this Oracle Fusion.
No. See, DBS never work from front end, right? Okay, they never access these pages. Okay. Their access is totally different. Okay, that back end processes and their view is totally different.
Okay, so navigation is totally different there. Okay.
Navigation is totally different. From front end, they cannot do anything. Okay, they have to correct from back end and they can work on this instance like some kind of patches, cloning activities, other DBA activities, and all they can do from back end only. The process is the access is totally different.
Okay. Yeah.
Not only in the Fusion, you take EBS or take any other applications also. Take any applications, DBS access is not from front end. There is a separate process from back end. They'll connect to that database, applications, related directories.
Uh-huh.
They'll work on those.
Okay, noted, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ashman.
Fine. Any other questions, please? So we're done for today. In tomorrow's session, we'll see how to start with the setups. Okay, we'll discuss few points and we'll see how to start with the setups by using this implementation project. Okay, if you have any questions, you can stay back. We will discuss. If no questions, we're done for today. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Please try to complete the same from your end. Okay, create user, create implementation project. You please go through how to do this assignment so that tomorrow's session will become easy. Done.
Lakshman, I have one question. So if we move, if we copy the setup from one instance to other instance, we can say test to production. After after 1 or 2 days, we done some more setups.
Yeah, I got your question. Yes, that is also possible. Those we call as incremental setups.
Okay, incremental setup. Okay.
Incremental setups also you can move the additional setups what you did after moving the setups. Those also you can create the configuration package and you can submit.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Possible. Any other questions, please?
Lakshman, you have mentioned that it is recommended to create a separate country-wise setup. So if I create one
implementation project, country-wise separate implementation
project.
Correct.
Okay, so if I create here one ERP implementation for India and one more ERP implementation for USA.
Yes.
So what are the settings I have done in India? Same if I want to use in USA, can we do that? We can copy?
No. We cannot use those. We cannot use those. When you do the setups, you will understand that point. Okay. You see, your US, you are doing the business in US and India. Okay. In India, you have to create the transactions with which currency? INR, right? Rupees.
Yeah.
US, you have to create the transactions in
USD.
USD. Only the process is changing.
Okay.
You are doing the business in India, in Hyderabad. You create one branch for India. Okay. And say you are doing the business in US, say in the Austin. For that, you will create one branch in the system environment. There is some naming convention for that we'll discuss.
Okay, but my task list and my offerings and all that options I want same, that cannot be done.
Those are same, but what through that setup, say for example, setup is same. Task is same. With the same task, we create for India, we create for US. The same task you create for Hyderabad branch and Dallas branch. When you are creating setup, what you are doing for which country, for which process, you have to select. That is the reason what you create that you cannot use for multiple countries in the system environment. There are few setups which you can use across. Those we call as common setups. Okay. Few setups, whatever you create, you can use for multiple countries. Very limited setups. Most of the setups we create country specific and within the country, the business specific. Those you will understand once we start doing the setup. Why you can understand.
Okay, so this is just a kind of a to-do list for a consultant. What is to see a status and where we are standing.
That's all.
Yeah.
Again, it is not mandatory also. You have to update the status and you have to do the assignments. Frankly speaking, when you are part of implementation project, we know very well we are responsible for what. And always we keep in touch with other team members also.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Is available, we are discussing. If you want to update the status, if you want to do the assignments as a part of project, yes, we can do it. Otherwise, we can ignore this at all.
Right. That clarifies my doubt as well, Lakshman. So just to summarize, we cannot move the setups that are done by done in one implementation project to another implementation project from a
In the
different
same
country.
instance. In the same instance.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. To other instances you can move.
Yes, okay, I got your point. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Lakshman, to add on to that question, it again depends on the setup which technical team has done for the project. If we are currently creating a new country for US, so there would be a setup which is already been taken care by a tech team. So we would be following that.
Here there is one point. The setup, most of the setups what we create for country-wise,
Correct.
business, as per country-wise business. There are very few setups which we create, we can use everywhere, wherever we require. So that sort of setups we can use across the countries also. Very limited setups, those are. You will see that in the classes. So most of the setups are the country specific, or within the country, say that they are doing the business in 4 branches. Few setups will complete branch wise. Say branch 1, 2, 3, 4. I complete the setups for branch 1. The branch 1 setups I cannot use for branch 2 also. I have to create again for branch 2.
Correct.
Yep. That's how it works when you talk about setups. This all will understand when you do the setups in the system.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I have another question. It's out of scope for this. I mean, like we have Oracle R12. The current version is 1.3. That and the latest one is like Oracle R12 2.11. So like this 2.11 is available till I mean 34.
Yeah, 30. Oracle
30. 2030. So
Yeah.
the question is why Oracle is running 2 ERP parallelly when R12 is already available. Oracle Fusion is also going hand by hand. Why that?
This is compared to EBS, it's a very advanced. Okay, very advanced. See, when you talk about EBS, in EBS, the complete solution is owned by Oracle, their own products. In Fusion, what they did, we discussed here, right? From Oracle product, they taken financials. From PeopleSoft, they took HCM. From JDE, they taken SCM solution because these are very famous. From PeopleSoft, HCM is very famous. From Oracle, you have HCM also, but how many people are allowed to take it? HCM is not good from Oracle, which we call as HRMS. Okay, and from JDE, SCM is good. Primavera PPM, Hyperion reporting, CBL CRM. All these products Oracle acquired, except SAP, most of the many other ERPs also Oracle acquired. In which ERP, which solution is good, they selected and they built this product. Hope you got your answer.
Yeah, I got your answer. So it's Fusion is an Oracle, totally Oracle.
EBS is totally Oracle.
EBS is totally
EBS
Oracle. Okay.
12.1.3 and all you said, right?
Yeah.
It's completely their own product. If you go for that EBS, only you will get which are developed by Oracle. Now, if you go with the Fusion from Oracle, which is the best solution, finance, you will get here. From PeopleSoft, the best is HCM. PeopleSoft, Oracle acquired, they purchased. Now, PeopleSoft is Oracle plus PeopleSoft. They taken from PeopleSoft HCM solution. If they take HCM from Oracle, that is not a good. Okay, that is not famous in the market. PeopleSoft HCM is famous. They selected into Fusion. From JD Edwards, SCM they selected. SAP, no, they didn't acquire, we know that. Oracle Primavera PPM. Hyperion reporting. CBL CRM. Now, if you compare Oracle Fusion with Oracle EBS, it's far better, right? All are best solutions.
Okay.
Here maybe 1 or 2, right? Here everything is best.
Okay, yeah, yet to explore, yeah, sure.
Yes.
And all if like HCM is acquired from PeopleSoft, so the tech team would be having
No. Everything they connected as inbuilt they are provided. You don't need to buy pieces. You buy as a product. So when you are going to use Oracle Fusion applications, everything, this all you see as a Fusion applications only. You don't see PeopleSoft HCM, okay, JDE, SCE, Primavera PPM, CBIL CRM. The legacy is those, but they combined all, they connected, integrated. Now this everything you will find as a single solution, single under single umbrella, like that is Oracle Fusion. Yeah. You don't think as a separate. All you see Fusion Financials, Fusion HCM, Fusion SCM, Fusion PPM, Fusion CRM. That's how you find as a part of solution.
Okay, so like clients who already have using Oracle R12, they are moving up to the new version because there is no patches, security patches coming up for 1.3. So will there be any possibility that the clients will moving up from Oracle R12 to Fusion?
See, not only R1, 12.13. After that, in the EBS who are running on the latest also, they cannot move to Fusion. There is no upgrade option. If they want to move to Fusion, they have to treat their EBS as a legacy system. They have to move to Fusion. You know how to do the implementation, right?
Yeah.
The same we have to follow. Since Oracle copied EBS finance solution to Fusion, when you implement the same solutions, you can implement certain things which are different. You have to take care. That's all. So it should be again re-implementation in the Fusion for EBS clients. As of now, there is no upgrade option to move from EBS to Fusion.
Okay, so if any new client is opting Oracle, so will they be preferring Oracle Fusion or EBS?
Oracle
again?
Fusion only.
Oracle Fusion only.
Yeah.
So if I know Oracle Fusion, so what is the scope for me to give an interview for
You
EBS?
in the demand. That's all.
Okay, so we can give an interview. I mean, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Fine. Any other questions from anyone, please? So no questions. So that's all.
Sir, yeah, sir. Actually, you have shared EBS 15 videos. So is it right time to go and view all that videos? Because I am little bit like they are the forms you are showing in the video, which is completely not relating as of now. So
Yes.
can I go ahead with the videos, or I'll wait for some time, then let me finish?
Anytime. See, you can go now, but you will understand, like going forward, few things you will be able to relate. If you don't go through anyway, here I am going to explain everything. You can understand.
Okay. Okay, sir.
If you have time, better you can go through. If you don't have time, no issues. It won't create any issue at all. You can go those after some time.
So means it will not clash. It will just help me.
Yeah,
like
it will help if you
understand.
go through. If you don't go through, no issue. Still you can understand what you are trying to learn.
Okay, sir. Fine.
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 Hello. Hi, Lakshman.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I raised one question in between our class regarding that how many classes we have completed before this, because
Okay,
today
fine.
only.
Yeah. So we completed 3 sessions. Okay, all are introduction classes only. What is the meaning of here? See, the day 1 we discussed about it. The day 1 we discussed about from this course what we are going to learn. Everything we discussed theoretically. Okay.
Okay.
We discussed what is the meaning of fusion. These are the points we discussed.
Okay.
Meaning of cloud. This is what we discussed. The meaning of cloud to understand. These are the points we discussed. The same second session we discussed about meaning of instance, how many instances we get. Day 3 we discussed about the user creation.
Okay.
In day 4 today we have seen this part. That's all.
Yeah.
You can go through. If you have any questions, we can discuss in the next session, or else we can have a one-on-one call also.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine. So any other questions from anyone, please? No questions.